So let's assemble this Puky 16-inch wheel bike. So there isn't much to it. Tools wise you don't need much. 15-inch spanner, 13-inch spanner. And if you have a pedal spanner, although regular spanners will work fine as well. There's two main jobs. You've got to put on the handlebars. Just put on the bell as well before you put on the handlebars, it's just easier. You've got to put on the pedals. And in my case I'm going to put on some stabilizers as well. So this particular one here is 16-inch, it's the metal frame. But it's a nice kid's bike. It's got very low here where the kids step over. See some bikes, cheaper ones, they have higher bars up here and it's just very hard to get off and on. So it's nice and easy to get on. So let's start by putting on the handlebars. Now the first thing you need to do is you need to loosen this bolt here so that the wedge at the end is nice and loose. So the idea with the wedge is as you tighten it pulls up like that, pulls up across here and tightens inside. So just make sure that's nice and loose. And you just shove it down into here. Just like that. And tighten up. Okay, don't make it too tight because it probably, for me, because it's a bit high here, need to straighten up a bit afterwards. Then we need to connect the brakes in. So this little clip here clips into the brake lever and push it in there. Then we attach the brakes here. Just clip it in. And that looks fine. So the thing to watch as well, because this is actually the second one I've got, you may need to adjust the brakes here. You just loosen this little nut here and just make sure that the wheel is free. Looks okay when it's spun. And that's the handlebars now. We just got to make sure we tighten that. Second thing to do is put on the pedals. And pedals are marked here at the back, or at the axle. L for left and R for right, obviously. So just watch putting on the left hand one, watch putting on the right hand one, the other side, because it's what's known as, this side has got the left hand treading, so you actually tighten it the other way, like that there. So the pedal the other side, you tighten it the normal way. And I've got a pedal spanner here to just gives me a bit more. Grab the pedal the other side and hold it. Just to make sure it's nice and tight. So that's on. And earlier I just attached the pedal the other side as well. You can see it on there. Okay. Next job is to assemble the stabilizers. Now they come in pieces. The thing to watch for these stabilizers, I noticed, is that the wheel goes on just one way. So you got to make sure that the bolt here, when you put it in, that it rests inside this side here. If you try and put it on the other side, it's kind of hard to see, but it will not rest into this plastic bit. It's got to rest in there, and you put on this nylon lock nut. You need to hold this side with a spanner and tighten this side here, and you should be able to tighten it all the way when tighten no more, and yet the pedal is still spinning. If you put the wheel the wrong way around, you'll find that you can keep tightening and eventually you can't turn the wheel. You've got the wheel the wrong way around. So just watch that again. It's got to make sure that that nut there is almost flush with this piece of plastic here, and you get stabilizer nicely mounted. When you're putting on the this bolt here, there's actually a bit of movement here. You can actually move it up and down. Now when you put it together, just leave it loose, and then we can attach it on here. So let's do that. So what have we got? 15mm spanner. Now when you take it off, there's a big thick metal washer. Hang on to that, don't lose it, because if you ever take off the stabilizers, you'll need that, because you don't put on that washer when you're putting on the stabilizers, because it's about the same thickness. So I just pop it in here, do put on the other washer, this bolt, this nut. Okay. And tighten that on. Now in the manual there are torque settings, but it's kind of good and tight. Now the idea about having the bit of play here is that you can actually adjust the stabilizers up and down. The idea is that you want the stabilizers to be just slightly above where the wheel is. The idea is that if the kid is cycling along and this wheel goes into lower ground than the stabilizers, the back wheel will just spin when they try and pedal it. So you know, when you've got the two on, there should be just a fraction of movement back and over. Just a small bit. You don't want it too much, or else you know the kid might get a bit nervous, but you just need a little bit of movement back and over. So let's just want to make sure I tighten that well. That's good. And the other one, that's fine. Just turn it around. And we'll do the stabilizer the other side. Okay, so again we take off the outside nut. Hang on to our washer. And actually the stabilizer this side I've actually disassembled it, so let me show you what it's like to assemble. So this piece here, this piece of metal, the bit here at the top that kind of sticks out a bit, that's the bit that goes into the frame, so don't try and mount this that way. This here goes together like that, then you just pop through the, just make sure you drag it around. Okay, so like this here. I'll show you from the other side. So you've got the bolt going through and attaching it onto this side here. And actually, apologies, I left a little washer out, so put that washer on and tighten it up. That's better. So I won't fully tighten that because I want to adjust it. As you can see here now, there's a bit of movement up and down. So that just allows us to adjust the stabilizers. So just put on the stabilizer like that. Put on the washer, the outside nut. Okay, put our 15mm spanner, tighten that up. That looks good and tight. Just to check as well, when you're taking off those nuts, that I didn't make the chain loose, so that still looks fine in there. Chain looks nice. So let's adjust the bike now so that we've got enough stabilization with the bike. So if it's too far up like that, it's just too much rocking back and over. If it's too far down, we could lift the back wheel off the ground so they just spin when the kids try to cycle. So we want it that, just get a spanner on it so we're able to tighten. We want it so it's just a little bit of play on it. So let's see, it's probably a bit too much. Put it down a bit. It's too much, like that. there. Just give it a little bit. Okay, tighten it up. Tighten that up. So, it's maybe just a bit too much, but I can loosen that again. So while we're at it, just check over everything else. Tighten both sides. Got our pedals on. Got the carrier. Just check, say, hex bolt there. Just make sure everything's tight. Looks fine. Mudguard. Looks good. Got a reflector. Now we just one last job here. Didn't do it earlier. It's just to straighten the handlebars. And I can't do it up here. What I need to do is put it on the ground and just finally tighten that bolt up there. And it's good to go. Might need to adjust the saddle up and down. And check the back brakes. Yeah, it looks good. So it's ready to go.